For as long as the sport has existed, knockout specialists have enthralled boxing audiences throughout the world. A combination of brute strength, speed, timing and accuracy. It's a precious quality that's contributed to some of the most memorable moments in the sport's history. A terrifying equalizer that can make up for many deficiencies. It can force even the most skilled of foes to mercy. And in this episode, we count down 10 of those gifted punches that light up the boxing world today. Number 10. Daniel Dubois. Dubbed as the future of heavyweight boxing, Daniel Dubois in his short professional career has already displayed the qualities to convince many ardent boxing observers of his world champion potential. The 22-year-old's poise and temperament has been complemented most notably by crunching punch power that's created a 92% knockout ratio so far in his young career.
And now, massive right hand, and it is all over in the first round, and a colossal right hand from Daniel Dubois.
Though his punch power has only been proven at domestic level, Dubois' breakout performance in 2019 against fellow heavyweight prospect Nathan Gorman demonstrated a key component which will likely maintain the knockouts as his competition develops.
Martin Bowers, between rounds, just stick to your boxing, stop trying to hurt him, just jab your way in and just box. Hello.
The ability to control fights with his jab will serve as the ideal tool to set opponents up for his most potent weapon, the right hand. Number 9. Saul Canelo Alvarez. Out of all the talents possessed in his artillery, knockout power may not be the most apparent. Yet in a career spanning 5 weight classes and almost 40 pounds, Canelo has demonstrated crippling power in each and every division he's operated in.
You have a conventional fighter, and there is Canelo dropping trouble.
Welterweight, light middleweight, middleweight, super middleweight, and finally light heavyweight. Audiences have frequently witnessed highlight reel stoppages delivered in a variety of ways. Granted, some of these KOs have been inflicted on opponents suffering from significant size disadvantages. But Canelo's recent stint at the higher weights proves even the bigger opponents will be wary of his punch power. Number 8. Anthony Joshua. Prior to suffering a devastating upset loss to Andy Ruiz Jr., Anthony Joshua had amassed an undefeated record of 22 wins with 21 knockouts. And the level of competition in which his power was tested against couldn't be faulted. From the durable Dillian Whyte to the legendary Vladimir Klitschko, Joshua has proven to be one of the most efficient finishers in the game, whilst also possessing the power to bail himself out in even the most worrying of scenarios. Even in defeat, it's a quality that hasn't gone missing. What would normally have been a fight-ending left hook was instead the catalyst towards a breathtaking round 3, in which Joshua would, in return, taste Andy Ruiz Jr.'s power. His style may currently be undergoing a transformation to become more of a boxer-mover to avoid similar calamities. But in boxing, once a puncher, always a puncher. And no doubt, when required, we'll see Joshua's punch power at the fore once again. Number 7. Gervonta Davis. Also known as Tank, the Baltimore native is currently one of the most exciting talents in boxing.
NFL team, the Baltimore Ravens.
A budding prospect at the time, Gervonta Davis suddenly exploded to prominence with a sensational stoppage win over Jose Pedraza to become the IBF Super Featherweight World Champion. It was a jaw-dropping performance in which the 22-year-old's ferocious punching crushed a respectable champion in a sink-or-swim fight. And the knockouts didn't stop there. All 6 of his subsequent fights have finished within the distance to maintain a 95% stoppage ratio in a 23-fight career.
Combination, left uppercut, and down goes Clayton.
So he's gone here, Ross. One more and it's all over. He stopped it.
Now operating in the lightweight division, Gervonta Tank Davis will put his punch power to the test against bigger, more durable opponents as he aims to become a 2-weight world champion. Number 6. David Lemieux. The dynamite puncher from Montreal and former IBF middleweight champion has long remained an exciting player in a talent-rich middleweight division. His 45-fight career makes him older than his 31 years suggest, but a fierce ability to knock opponents out cold still remains.
Can there be time? And down goes O'Sullivan!
Turning professional in 2007, Lemieux maintained a 100% knockout record in his first 20 fights to become one of the hottest prospects in the sport. 2 shocking back-to-back upset losses in 2011 almost derailed his world title aspirations, but Lemieux punched his way into contention for the IBF Championship in 2015 to eventually beat Hassan Ndam to become a middleweight world champion. The Canadian brawler has since suffered 2 more losses at the hands of elite opponents in Gennady Golovkin and Billy Joe Saunders. But a move up to super middleweight to target one more world championship is now on the cards. Number 5. Murat Gassiev. Born in Kavkaz, a mountainous region in Russia's southwest border, famous for breeding a number of dominant Olympic and world champion wrestlers, Murat Gassiev instead found refuge in the art of pugilism and turned professional at the tender age of 18. 3 years later, and a move to Big Bear, California, the mighty Russian went under the tutelage of renowned trainer Abel Sanchez. It wasn't until May of 2016 when American audiences would witness his devastating power, when he knocked out Jordan Schimmel with a head-jolting left hook. His talents inevitably led to 2 cruiserweight world titles, captured in the coveted World Boxing Super Series, where again his punching prowess was on display for the world to see. Though he would lose to the brilliant Alexander Usyk in the final of the tournament, Murat Gassiev, at just 26 years of age, remains one of the finest operators in the sport and will now test his knockout power against the heavyweights in the division above. Number 4. Gennady Golovkin. Much like his former Big Bear colleague Murat Gassiev, Gennady Golovkin rose to prominence under the guidance of Abel Sanchez.
It's a natural heavy hand.
Good left hand to the body and left to the head. Down goes Proxler.
Qualified with a sublime amateur background, Golovkin was forged into the most feared, dominant middleweight of the past decade.
Oh my goodness, there is a monster in the middleweight division.
Since ascending to world level in 2010, Golovkin's trail of destruction has featured concussed heads, cracked ribs, fractured noses, and even broken eye sockets. But this raw punch power, which boxing intellectuals insist a fighter can only be born with, wasn't forged by fate alone. Assisted with an educated boxing mind that knows how to maneuver into the correct positions and apply the torque to unleash a well-placed, destructive shot, Golovkin will go down as one of history's finest punchers. Were it 4 years ago, he would unquestionably have occupied the number 1 spot on this list. But now 37 years of age and 2 questionable blemishes on his record, Golovkin must deal with a wave of emboldened opponents that are suddenly energized by his declining physical abilities. Number 3. Artur Beterbiev. One of many in a long conveyor belt of combat sport professionals, Dagestan's finest boxing specimen comes in the guise of Artur Beterbiev, the light heavyweight champion of the world with a 100% knockout record. A long amateur career means Beterbiev was already 28 years of age when he had his first professional bout. Wasting very little time, his first acid test came in his 6th bout against former world champion Tavoris Cloud, in which he scored a quick second-round TKO to confirm his world-level talents.
Man, we were talking about in the meeting, how long will it take this guy to be ready for the top contenders in this division? This man is ready. They don't see power like that every day.
Dominant knockout victories ensued, and the vacant IBF world title was picked up in 2017. And Beterbiev soon found himself swimming in one of the most talent-rich, competitive divisions. 4 equally strong champions, all from Eastern Europe, each held a world title. That landscape, however, abruptly changed, and the clear number 1 was established when Beterbiev's vicious breakdown of WBC champion Alexander Vozdik made him a unified champion of the division.
Route, short left hand, he goes down again. Trying to come over the top with the right hand. That's it, it's over. Artur Beterbiev is the unified light heavyweight champion of the world.
Technically well-rounded, a good jab, and an unusual ability to generate crunching power with short punches makes Beterbiev a dangerous operator at both mid and short range. Widely considered the best at light heavyweight, a mouth-watering matchup against fellow Russian compatriot and WBA champion Dmitry Bivol could soon be on the cards. Number 2. Naoya Inoue. To restrict Naoya Inoue to a list that focuses only on punching would do a great disservice to the Japanese bantamweight they call the Monster.
Well, the talk is true, the talk is real. He is a monster.
The current unified WBA and IBF champion, who some regard as the best boxer in the world, has wreaked havoc in a manner that other pound-for-pound contemporaries have not. the tremendously gifted 3-weight world champion reinforces his raw knockout power with timing, pinpoint accuracy, lightning speed and varied shot selection that can end a fight in a number of ways. And just like the greats of the past, the punches come from a well-balanced, solid base, pushing off the feet and turning with the hips to create devastating results. It's a perfected style since turning professional in 2012 that has obliterated champions over the span of 3 weight classes. And much like the other punchers on this list, Inoue may have to seek bigger opponents in the divisions above, who can compensate for the power and skill advantages he holds.
Rodriguez straight left hand there, just dumps Rodriguez into the first round of McDonald, goes over from the left hand to the body. Inoue, a minute left, retreats to the ropes immediately. Inoue looking to tee off with that right hand, left hand of McDonald, slacks into the ropes again, and Luis Pabon, the referee, has jumped in and waved this off, blown away by Noah Inoue. He's been slain by the monster.
Number 1. Deontay Wilder. Standing in an athletic 6'7" frame, the bronze bomber from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, is widely regarded as the most devastating puncher in all of combat sports. In his 43 fights as a professional, an astonishing 93% knockout ratio has been maintained, whereby no opponent has escaped without hitting the canvas. And perhaps the most impressive aspect of Wilder's power is the ability to change the entire complexion of a fight with just one punch.
15 seconds left on the clock, and there's the right hand. Ortiz is down for the second time in his career.
Both contests against Luis Ortiz saw Wilder arguably down on the scorecards and on his way to suffering his first ever loss. But in both fights, all of Luis Ortiz's hard work was undone immediately by swift right hands.
Right hand, down goes Ortiz! Oh my goodness!
Even his long-term adversary, Tyson Fury, was forced to settle for a draw in their first bout when his near-flawless game plan was cancelled out by 2 separate knockdowns. Upon immediate inspection, his abilities in the ring may appear crude and limited, but there does remain a certain level of skill and method to the madness. Recent years have demonstrated a much refined right hand that, when thrown straight, reaches the target with unexpected speed and frightening consequences. History may hold 2020 as the negative turning point in Wilder's career, but despite a demoralising loss in a division where supersized heavyweights have been taking over, Wilder's lighter, slender physique has shown a consistent ability to either knock down or knock out opponents that hold significant weight advantages. That is substantial proof of his unreal punch power. And with a third fight with Tyson Fury looming in the summer, that game-changing equalizer will be needed more than ever, as he bids to reinstate the intimidating bronze bomber aura he'd been enjoying for many years.